Over millions of years, animals have adapted and evolved an arsenal of deadly weapons to hunt, defend, and attack. Teeth, claws, antlers, electricity, stings, camouflage, odor, and poisons are all being used to devastating effect in the animal armory. The most common of these weapons are teeth and claws. Many animals possess them, but seldom are they wielded with such lethal mastery. Crocodiles and wolves are apex predators, using their teeth with terrifying effect, winning them a place at the top of their food chains. In contrast, a simple flick of the baboon's lip to reveal its menacing teeth is enough to strike fear into their enemies, keeping them at bay. Bears and tigers are also infamous for the lethal wounds inflicted by their razor-sharp claws. The owl's talons, though not as devastating in face-to-face combat, are unmatched when employed with stealth to take down their prey, while armored crabs fight and defend what's theirs by cutting and crushing foes in their pincers. Held aloft throughout history as a symbol of courage and strength, few animals instill both fear and wonder like the king of the animal kingdom, the African lion. One of the largest big cats, the lion, was once found throughout Africa and into Southwest Asia. Its hunting skills and way of life placed it at the top of the food chain. Although their numbers are dwindling, thanks to several deadly weapons in their arsenal, lions are still a force to be reckoned with in sub-Saharan Africa. Of these weapons, none are more lethal or fearsome than the lion's teeth. Lions have remarkable jaws that can open to a width of around 11 inches. Despite their reputation as vicious killers, lions spend more time laying around and bonding. Few circumstances find the lion in combat other than to hunt food, protect the pride, or take possession of another pride's territory. A lion has 30 teeth, 12 carnassials, 10 premolars, 4 molars, and 4 canines, with serrations on the back. Apart from the carnassials, the rest of the lion's teeth are conical in shape, designed to tear and rip flesh. Female lions do most of the hunting. Their slimmer, athletic bodies enable them the stealth and speed needed for a successful hunt. The large muscular bulk of the male's powerful body makes them too slow and cumbersome, but perfect for protecting the pride from rogue males looking to topple the alpha, kill his cubs, and take the females for himself. Of all their teeth, the lion's canines are perhaps their most important offensive weapon. They're longer and thicker, growing to approximately 2.4 inches in length. To prevent breaking, the lion's canines are set deep in their skull. They are so strong, during fights with other males, often a lion will pierce through the skull of its foe. Though most male-on-male fights will end without death, the stronger becoming obvious without the need to kill. Whether hunting, defending, or attacking, a lion kills in 2 stages. First, they bring the animal down by jumping on its back, gripping and clawing with their needle-sharp claws to the throat. Once at the throat, the lion instinctively initiates a chokehold, and their canine teeth reveal their deadly purpose. They close the airway of the creature by clamping down on the throat, embedding their canines deep into the flesh. With the serrations on the back of the teeth, it becomes very painful and virtually impossible for the prey to pull out of the hold without losing chunks of its flesh. If that's all the lion's teeth were capable of, they would be remarkable weapons. But inside every tooth are sensitive nerves that, while biting, allow the lion to sense veins and arteries. They quite literally feel the blood flowing inside their prey. Not only does this help the lion know where to bite, it lets it know when their prey's dead. When the blood stops flowing, the kill is complete, and the rest of the teeth can get to work tearing flesh and grinding bone.
You going to mug me?
Am I going to mug you?
Is that gorgeous or what, eh?
And I believe I can run a decent marathon.
Thank you very much.
Download Veely now.
Sharing 91% of its DNA with humans, and found throughout Ethiopia, Saudi Arabia, and Yemen, the baboon's large fang-like teeth are famous among local cultures as being the personification of evil. Baboons are the largest monkeys on Earth, weighing between 33 and 82 pounds. They're highly adaptable, surviving almost anywhere from the savanna to tropical forests. Being old world monkeys, they're distinguished by their long noses and specific formation of teeth, allowing them to eat pretty much anything, including fruits, grasses, seeds, bark, roots, and leaves. They also have a taste for meat, including fish and other small animals. Yet baboons aren't natural predators, reluctant to attack anything unless threatened, trapped, having food taken, or their infants threatened. Unlike most primates, they aren't territorial, instead occupying a home range overlapping that of other baboon troops. Things usually remain peaceful, but when it comes to food, sleeping sites, infanticide, and competition for females, fights occur and their teeth are used. Their massive canines are predominantly used to fight other male baboons to gain access to females. But despite their ferocious look, it wasn't a need to defend or hunt that evolved the baboon's oversized fangs, but the need for sex. Despite baboon troops having an alpha male, it's the females who wield the power. They remain with the troop they're born in their entire life, happily fitting into a dominance hierarchy dictated by age and experience. The matriarchs, the oldest females, wield the most power. By contrast, male baboons leave their birth troop in search of another to hopefully become its alpha, but only at the behest of the females. Baboons have very long, extraordinarily sharp teeth. They possess 4 large incisors on the top jaw and another 4 on the bottom. 2 massive canines on the top and bottom, 8 premolars and 12 molars. That's 32 teeth in all. The incisors at the front of the mouth snip off pieces of food. The premolars and molars grind it, while the massive canine teeth between the incisors and molars pierce, tear, and intimidate. Female baboons possess hairless patches of skin around their genital area that swell and turn bright pink when ready to mate, producing smells that arouse males. Tensions mount as they watch each other, using direct eye contact to intimidate, invariably escalating to open-mouthed threats, flipping their top lip to reveal their huge teeth. This is usually enough to keep other males in their place. When they get a whiff of the female's scent, physical combat ensues to decide who is the alpha. Battles can last for days. Their terrific canines sometimes inflicting lethal wounds. To the victor, if they'll have him, goes the right to mate with a harem of females. If not killed, the loser is sent on his way to find another troop and another alpha to test his skills against. Evolving between 235 to 65 million years ago, when dinosaurs roamed the Earth, little has changed with the animal kingdom's oldest and possibly most successful predator, the crocodile. The crocodile can be found at the top of its food chain in rivers, lakes, wetlands, salt and brackish waters throughout the tropics of Africa, Asia, the Americas, and Australia. They are totally carnivorous, with an appetite for fish and other reptiles, birds and mammals. Males will fight other males to gain access to females when mating, but get along for the most part, except for the saltwater variety. They're extremely territorial, highly aggressive, and completely intolerant of other males at any time. Crocodiles possess many weapons in their armory: tough skin, fantastic hearing, and a fast swim, to name but a few. But what they all have in common is a deadly, nearly inescapable weapon: powerful jaws full of lethal teeth. Crocodiles are ambush predators, waiting patiently over long periods of time for aquatic creatures or land animals to venture nearby. Once in range, they rush their quarry with a terrifying surprise attack. They are the top predators in their environment and have been observed killing other major predators, including sharks and big cats. The saltwater crocodile, the largest of the species, has between 65 and 67 teeth, with around 18 on each side of the top jaw and 15 on either side of the lower jaw, intermeshing perfectly when closed. The jaw itself has a bulge on either side. These are the muscles giving strength to one of the world's most powerful jaws. Once the surprise attack is initiated, the crocodile latches onto their prey with a powerful bite of 3,700 pounds of pressure per square inch, easily enough to crush the shell of a turtle or a pig's skull. Their teeth have evolved to be large and conical in shape and extremely sharp, designed for penetration and gripping flesh. Unlike the teeth of other large predators, crocodile teeth are no good for tearing flesh, but perfect for holding onto prey, with little possibility of the creature escaping. Once in their jaws, the crocodile continues to crush the creature, rolling over and over to drown it, then swallowing it whole. Despite the carnage a crocodile's teeth and jaws are capable of, they can also take delicate action by picking up and rolling their unhatched eggs in their mouth, gently squeezing them until they hatch. Once hatched, they transport their young inside their mouths, ferrying them to the water for their first swim. A powerful symbol to ancient cultures, heralding protection, strength, and cunning. The wolf is famous for its howl, striking both fear and inspiration into those hearing it. But it's the wolf's teeth that allow them to be the fierce killers they are. The grey wolf was once common across North America, Eurasia, and the Middle East. Due to their skills as elite hunters, a taste for livestock, and the reduction of habitat, humans have reduced their distribution to only a fraction of what it was. Within a wolf pack, there's an alpha male and female. They lead and breed. The beta wolves are second in the hierarchy, with the omegas in the lowest position. A pack can range from 2 to 36 wolves, but averages out to around 6 dogs. They are highly territorial, establishing ranges much larger than they require to survive. Wolves will viciously defend their territory from other packs. If scent marking and howling doesn't keep others at bay, they will attack directly. The wolf has 42 teeth, with 20 in the upper jaw, 6 incisors, 2 canines, 8 premolars and 4 molars, and 22 in the lower, 6 incisors, 2 canines, 8 premolars and 6 molars. Their canine teeth can grow to as long as 2 inches. Wolves mainly prey on caribou, elk, deer, moose, and bison. They're very social, but single wolves or mated pairs generally have more success in hunting than large packs. A single wolf has been observed taking down large prey like moose, bison, and musk oxen completely unaided. A wolf hunt is divided into 5 stages. Locating the prey through hearing and smell, then stalking the prey, concealing themselves to get as close as possible. If the wolf is detected, the prey will either approach, stand its ground, or flee. On approach or standing its ground, the wolf will attack. Large prey will be attacked from the rear and side, biting large chunks of flesh from the soft perineum, causing a huge amount of blood loss. 3 bites in this area is sufficient to cause death. Wolves have strong jaws, delivering a force of 1,500 pounds per square inch, with extremely sharp teeth that are slightly curved. This allows a strong grip on their prey and the ability to break bones, accessing the soft marrow inside. Its incisors cut flesh. The canine grabs hold, while the premolars slice and molars crush, allowing the wolf to eat virtually the entirety of its prey, leaving very little waste. As we've seen, Teeth are used for far deadlier purposes than just chewing food to be swallowed. The lions can literally feel the blood pumping through their victim. A baboon's look is fearsome. The crocodile's teeth are so deadly that once latched onto a victim, it's virtually impossible for them to escape. And the wolves are so efficient, they not only bring down much larger prey, they allow the wolf to consume the entirety of the carcass, flesh and bone. As impressive as they are, teeth are not the only weapons animals use in the wild. Whether you can call them talons or claws, most mammals, reptiles and birds possess them, used for a variety of tasks, from digging to climbing. It's a select few who have the ability to wield them as a deadly weapon to hunt for their prey, defend their young, or claim a mate. Since prehistoric times, from the UK throughout Europe, Asia, and into the Americas, the bear has been worshipped and immortalized in myth and fable to become the official symbol of several countries around the world. There are 8 different species of bear throughout North America, South America, Europe, and Asia. The 8 species of bear share similar physical characteristics, including long snouts, shaggy hair, large bodies, and stocky legs. They also possess plantar-grade paws with non-retractable claws for fighting and defending. Bears are solitary animals, except in times of courting. They're generally active during the day, but have been known to go about their business at night. Brown bears feed on vegetation, small land mammals, and fish. They possess a particularly voracious appetite for salmon. They're the dominant predator in the environment, completely unthreatened apart from human beings who have hunted them for sport or out of fear. The grizzly bear, a subspecies of the brown bear, easily dominates any animal in its territory. Other apex predators like wolves and cougars know this and will surrender their prey without a fight. Grizzly bears generally avoid people, but their temperament can easily swing if cornered, surprised, or their cubs are threatened. A mother bear will not hesitate to defend her offspring from other animals, including other bears. They stand up to 4 feet when on all fours, and between 5 and 8 feet when standing on their hind legs. Despite poor eyesight, they have a super keen sense of smell, their main tracking tool when hunting prey or foraging for food. The enormous shoulder muscles of the grizzly bear, coupled with immensely strong forearms, giant paws, and razor-sharp claws, growing up to 6 inches. Bear claws are not just used to inflict death. They are also used to turn over rocks, rip bark from trees, and tear open logs in the search for insects to eat. The claw's shape will differ according to the type of bear. Climbing bears, like black bears, have very strong curved claws to grip tree bark, while digging bears, like grizzlies, are long and straight. Polar bears have curved claws that are sharp and strong to not just catch and hold prey, but provide traction on slick ice. The polar bear has 4 large paws, each with 5 toes with long claws that are around 2 inches long. The front claws are much longer, However, the back paws themselves are larger for stability when the bear stands on their hind legs. The entire design of both front and back paws and claws enable the bear to run fast, climb trees, and swim. The polar bear and Alaskan Kodiak bear are the largest carnivores on Earth, measuring often in excess of 9 feet and weighing more than 1,500 pounds. With no real natural enemies, the only conflict bears have is amongst themselves. Males will battle other males for territory and the right to mate by standing on their hind legs and shoving each other. When things get overheated, they swing their huge paws at each other, doing considerable damage with their claws. The victorious male then has to compete with a female bear. If she already has cubs, the male will try to kill them, ensuring the survival of his genes. But if he thought the battle with the other male was hard, he has little chance of besting an angry mother bear. If hunting, the bear prefers to ambush rather than stalk, hiding and patiently waiting until their quarry's within range, then rushing and swiping it with its claws, killing it with one mighty blow. When the salmon runs, it's one of the only instances these bears tolerate each other's company, knowing there is plenty of fish for everyone to gorge themselves on. In the regions where bears are found, they dominate all other animals. But birds have little to fear, particularly the owl, who not only share their same territory, but also use their claws as a weapon. In Western culture, the owl symbolizes wisdom, but throughout Africa and for many Native Americans, they were the harbingers of death. It's easy to understand why when you witness an owl's claws in full effect. Raptors are birds of prey that include eagles, hawks, ospreys, and owls. Owls are nocturnal predators, possessing binocular vision and binaural hearing. They are solitary birds designed for silent flight, and with sharp talons for hunting and defending. There are many species of owl found on every continent except Antarctica. And they vary greatly in size. The heaviest and largest winged are the Blackiston fish owl and Eurasian eagle owl, weighing 10 pounds, possessing a wingspan of 6.6 feet. Owls are totally carnivorous, with a diet consisting of insects and rodents, with a few species specifically adapted to hunt fish. All are incredible hunters with varying skills depending on their environment, but most characteristics are shared amongst all species. Amazing sight and hearing to quickly locate prey. Their hunting strategy is reliant on stealth and surprise, And thanks to their unique wings and camouflage, few creatures hear or see an owl coming. The owl has 4 toes on each foot. While in flight or perching, 3 toes face forward, and 1 longer claw, the hallux, faces backwards. When clutching prey, the outer front toe on each foot swivels to face backwards, like the hallux, granting a firmer grip around their prey. When an owl catches its quarry, it pushes the hallux through the creature's body. If that's not enough to kill it, the immense crushing power of their talons makes short work of the creature's skull. The owl then swallows the creature whole if it's not too big, otherwise ripping it apart using its beak and claws. The great horned owl, potentially the world's most dangerous owl, grips with a force of around 500 psi. That's equal to the bite of a German shepherd dog, 5 times stronger than that of a human hand. The front, middle talon of the great horned owl possesses an extra cutting edge to tear its prey asunder. In order to withstand their high-impact hunting, owls' feet have evolved to be bonier, shorter, and stronger than most other birds. The underside of their feet are covered with a rough, knobbly surface to help grip and perch. Owls also possess a locking-like ratchet in their feet, keeping the claws locked around their prey, making escape impossible. Other than hunting, owls use their talons to defend their nest, becoming fiercely territorial during spring and summer, while they have young. When an intruder ventures too close, owls will dive bomb feet first, smashing into the creature with their claws, instinctively aiming for the head or face, regardless of the animal's size. People take them as totems, put them on their flags, and embrace them as mascots for their favorite sporting teams. Few creatures are as charismatic as the tiger, and few creatures wield weapons as deadly as the tiger's claws. Tigers were once common across Asia, from Turkey to the east coast of Russia, but thanks to human interference, are now only found from India to Southeast Asia and southeastern Siberia. They are few in numbers and highly endangered. They're territorial creatures, usually solitary, but can also be quite social. Females tend to be accepting of other females, while male tigers are likely to be intolerant of other males in their territory. When territorial disputes flare up, they're often resolved through displays of intimidation rather than physical combat. The submissive tiger will yield by rolling on its back, presenting its belly to the dominant male. After this, the dominant male will be more accepting, as long as it stays out of its way. Sometimes, with the heavy damage a tiger's claw can inflict, these confrontations will end in death. Tigers are apex predators and master hunters with a taste for deer and bovids. They are mainly nocturnal, but have been observed hunting during the day and usually hunt alone. They stalk their prey, attempting to remain undetected. On a successful approach, the tiger will ambush the creature, overpowering it with its immense size and strength. In short bursts, tigers can travel at speeds of up to 35 miles per hour. They must be in close proximity for its ambush to succeed. If spotted too soon, the tiger will disengage from the hunt rather than chase it down or confront the animal head-on. By using this method, a single tiger can take down water buffalo weighing over 2,200 pounds. Their limbs and claws are so powerful, attacks have been recorded where a single swipe is enough to break the skull of domestic cattle. This is possible due to a few reasons. The bones in the tiger's front legs are strong and dense, supporting the massive muscles attached to them. And the bones in their feet are connected by tight ligaments, buffering any impact. Tiger claws are retractable like any cat's. Ligaments hold them in a protective sheath, remaining retracted when not in use to ensure they remain sharp. Tigers' claws grow up to 4 inches in length. Each paw has 4 claws and a special claw located farther back on the front feet. This is the dew claw and functions much like a human thumb. The other claws, being curved, grants the tiger an incredible grasp, permitting them to hold large prey and climb trees head first. Despite the curved claws making climbing up trees very easy, climbing down is a little more difficult. They must either crawl backwards or jump, making them the most inferior climbers of the cat family. The dew claw doesn't make contact with anything while walking, so over time, they become incredibly long and sharp. The perfect weapon to hold down prey. A tiger will also use their claws to mark their territory by scratching trees, ripping at them repeatedly, leaving deep marks on the trunk. Secretions from between the claws leave deposits easily smelled by other tigers, as a warning as to whose territory it is. On land, the tiger is probably the most famous creature for the use of their incredible claws. But in the water, that belongs to the crab. Humans have always been fascinated with the crab. From naming constellations, pulsar and nebulas in the skies, to depicting them in the art of ancient cultures. Even coming to the aid of heroes like Hercules as he battled the Hydra. Crabs are found all over the world. They reside in oceans, bodies of fresh water, and on land. They are even found in volcanic vents, thousands of feet below the ocean surface and under the ice of Antarctica. Like lobsters and prawns, they are decapods with 10 limbs, 8 of which are walking legs. Many crabs have flat bodies, allowing them to crawl into tight crevices. Generally, they're covered in a thick exoskeleton with 2 front limbs, armed with a pair of pincer-like claws called chelae. Each chelae have 2 fingers, one fixed and another movable called a dactyl. Usually the right claw is bigger and blunt, used for crushing, while the left claw is smaller and sharp for cutting. The size of the muscle attached to the claw indicates how forceful its pinch is and the damage it will cause. But a crab's claws are not merely used for combative purposes. They also use them to communicate by drumming and waving, particularly when it's time to mate, a function not reliant on the power of its pinch. Fully aquatic species attract mates through the release of pheromones, while terrestrial and semi-terrestrial crabs implement visual, acoustic, and vibratory cues. Female fiddlers have 2 small claws they use to eat microscopic food. But the male fiddler crab has 1 chelae larger than the other. So large, it constitutes half its body weight. When it's time to mate, he'll rhythmically wave his claw to attract the attention of females and threaten other males. The males of most crab species will battle each other for access to females. Some crabs are solitary, while other species live in groups, working together, providing food and protection for the family. But on the crowded rocky seashores, where competition for caves and crevices is fierce, crabs will fight over real estate. They're omnivores and eat pretty much anything, including algae, mollusks, worms, fungi, bacteria and detritus, even other crustaceans. This mix of food allows for the fastest growth and ultimate fitness. Some species require a more specialized diet, eating only plankton or shellfish. Some crabs will only eat fish. They have many predators, including seagulls, sea otters, octopi, fish, and humans. But their claws are an effective defense, capable of inflicting substantial damage, like the chelae of the Australian mud crab. They are big, fast, and strong, making them very dangerous. Crabs often lose claws in battle, but possess the nifty trick of growing new, fully functional replacements. Most crabs use their claws to fight, but there's one species that uses them to hide and disguise itself, even augmenting its own defense. The small boxer crab carries a pair of stinging anemones in its claws to fool predators. If the ruse fails, the predator has to deal with the painful, perhaps lethal stings of the anemones, along with the damage the crab's claws has inflicted. Many creatures have teeth and claws, including human beings. Unlike the teeth of the lion and crocodile, ours are now too small and fragile to bite into anything tougher than an overcooked steak. Dentistry has allowed the flash of our teeth to be a pleasant greeting to others, the complete opposite of a baboon's threatening grin. We are reliant on the butcher for our meat. We even cut it up with a knife and fork before chewing it. Far less superior than a wolf's teeth, tearing and grinding down all the flesh and bone till there is nothing left. Our claws have evolved to be soft, used for nothing more than to scratch an itch. They are quite irrelevant to our survival, not like the bear, who depends on their ability to rip open logs or the intestines of an animal. The owl's talons not only grip the food they need, they kill it. The tiger relies on theirs being razor sharp to maintain his place at the top of the food chain. Male crabs not just communicate with their claws, they wave them about to find a mate. Human beings have adapted to becoming the dominant force on the planet. Where we have evolved intellectually, animals continue to evolve physically, granting them the powerful weaponry found in the animal armory. Over millions of years, animals have adapted and evolved an arsenal of deadly weapons to hunt, defend, and attack. Teeth, claws, antlers, electricity, stings, camouflage, odor, and poisons are all being used to devastating effect in the animal armory. Using melee and brawl in combat isn't merely the domain of humans. Many animals also wield these fighting styles with deadly effect. Elk grow and lose antlers year in and year out, but not before they are used as protection from both predators and rival males vying for the right to mate. The mighty bison rules the American plains thanks to their thunderous stampedes, incredible headbutts, and lethal horns. Rhinoceros beetles wield unique horns they use to flip and throw opponents. Bighorn sheep battle each other for mating rights by charging at each other and smashing their heads together repeatedly for hours. They use a strike that would instantly kill a person. The mantis shrimp possesses an attack faster than a speeding bullet, which allows them to take down creatures much larger in size. The kangaroo, in its many forms, has few predators due to its muscular legs and tail, which grants it the ability to not only bound away from danger at blistering speeds, but present a series of deadly kicks when threatened. Although an ostrich never goes looking for a fight, its long legs and clawed toes means it can outrun most foes and kill with a disemboweling kick when cornered. Bush turkeys show little fear when confronted by most animals, while the silverback gorilla aggressively defends his troop from predators and other apes with the ability to wrestle and strike using the strength of 20 adult men. Across all the world's continents, animals' ability to melee and brawl can mean the difference between life and death on nature's battleground. From carvings in cave walls to the use of its antlers for their great health benefits, the elk has been spiritually revered for thousands of years. As great as its medicine is claimed to be, it's nowhere near as powerful or deadly as the elk's antlers. The elk, or wapiti, is native to North America and Eastern Asia, where they are one of the largest subspecies of red deer. Adapted to diverse habitats, the elk can withstand long winters in open plains and woodlands. Male elks are called bulls or stags, while females are cows or hind. A cow can weigh up to 643 pounds. Elk can stand up to 4.9 feet at the shoulder, while being up to 8.8 feet long. Bulls tend to be 10% larger, weighing up to 1,100 pounds. Elk can be found in and around forests, feeding on grass, plants, leaves, and bark. Other than their size, the most striking feature of the elk is their large antlers, possessed only by bulls. Made of bone, antlers begin growing in spring at a rate of nearly an inch a day. While elks are growing, their antlers are covered by a layer of skin called velvet. In summer, when the antlers have fully developed, the velvet sheds. As the mating season begins, elks venture out from their single-sex groups, and the males compete for the female's attention. Challenges are displayed through bellowing and paralleling each other, by walking back and forth, and by assessing each other's antlers, body size, and ability to fight. Often at this point, one of the bulls, usually the younger or smaller elk, will back down. But if both stand their ground, they'll engage in antler wrestling, a deadly show of strength that can cause serious injury. With harems of 5 to over 20 cows, depending on environmental factors, dominant bulls defend their harems from other bulls and predators. In North America, predators include coyote packs and cougars, who will mostly hunt calves, while wolves and brown, black, and grizzly bears have also been known to prey on elk. Whereas in Asia, the elk's natural predators include wolves, brown bears, dhole, Siberian tigers, amur, snow leopards, lynx, and boars. Elk antlers grow from 2 pedicles in the bull's head, which are bone follicles covered in skin. They begin growing as layers of cartilage that eventually mineralize into bone. They grow underneath the velvet that protects and carries blood to the growing bone tissue. Young bulls only have slim, unbranched antlers called spikes, which can be up to 20 inches long. Over the course of 7 years, those spikes will evolve into fully fledged antlers with up to 8 tines. Weighing as much as 40 pounds, the antlers can reach a length and spread of more than 4 feet. Large antlers are also a sign that a bull can aptly defend themselves from other bulls and predators. When mating has ended and the antlers shed, elk return to their single-sex groups. The cows remain together and the bulls form herds amongst themselves for safety while they grow their new weapons. Often mistaken for buffalo, the mighty bison once thundered across the American plains in their millions. But due to human interference, their numbers have dwindled. Despite this, they are still formidable as the heaviest land creatures in North America. Throughout history, 6 species of bison have been recognized. Of those 6, 4 are now extinct. The 2 remaining species are the North American bison and the European bison. American bison are the most numerous and found in North America, while the European bison were successfully reintroduced into the wild after becoming extinct. Like the elk, male and female bisons are called bulls and cows, and are the largest terrestrial animals found in America and Europe. They stand up to 6.5 feet at the shoulder and can weigh over a ton. Bison are nomadic grazers, known for roaming great distances in herds, eating as they move. They are good swimmers, able to traverse rivers half a mile wide. At around the age of 2 or 3 years, bulls leave their mothers and join a small male herd, which are usually much smaller than the female-dominated ones, or they remain solitary. Bison appear to be big, docile creatures with no care for what's happening around them. Some might even perceive them to be lazy. The bison's temperament is highly unpredictable. They may attack someone or something without warning or reason. Moving at speeds of up to 40 miles per hour, bison cover long distances with a thumping gallop. When observing the bison, its most obvious weapon are the horns on its head, borne by both males and females. The horns of the European bison differ to that of its American relative. This affects their fighting style, as they interlock their horns rather than headbutting. Both bison's horns are black, short, curved, and sharp. They can grow to anywhere between 23 and 29 inches. Whether interlocking horns or butting their heads, both species of bison charge their targets. With a typical weight of 2,000 pounds and running at a speed of 35 miles per hour, these massive beasts effectively use momentum to inflict maximum damage on their chosen target. In North America, bison are considered highly dangerous, with recorded charges at humans who have ventured too close. Bison are thought to be savage animals, with no fear of any other creature. Mating season runs from June through to September, with most activity in July and August. This is when the mature bulls rejoin the herd and fight amongst themselves, butting heads to gain the female's attention. It's at this time when bison are at their most belligerent, unpredictable, and dangerous. Their defensive strategy is usually to stampede away from a threat. But when they have to defend themselves or fight for mating rights, they will jump from a standing position and spin around on their feet. This increases the chances of impaling the challenger on their horns. The prize is great, and there can only be one winner. Famous for being sacred to the ancient Egyptians and made into amulets still popular today, scarabs are a family of beetles consisting of over 30,000 species. The largest and strongest of these is the mighty rhinoceros beetle family. The rhinoceros beetle is found on every continent except for Antarctica. They're abundant herbivores with over 300 species, well known for their unique shapes and giant sizes, earning them colloquial names like the elephant beetle, unicorn beetle, and Hercules beetle. These are among the largest beetles in the world, with some reaching more than 6 inches in length. Despite their massive size and fearsome looks, they are quite harmless, with no stings or bites. However, they are certainly not a lightweight in the insect world. A rhino beetle can lift up to 850 times their own weight, making them, comparatively speaking, the strongest animal in the world. Each species has its own distinctive horns. The Hercules beetle has a unique horn that curves down from its back and another up from its head. The caliper beetle has a narrow horn with a serrated edge, which it uses to lift and shove. The Japanese rhino beetle has an upward curving horn with a fork on the end, which it uses to slide under, lift, and twist its foe off the branch. These dangerous-looking weapons aren't used to defend against predators, nor are they used to hunt prey. They serve for digging and food foraging, and when fighting other males when it's time to mate. A rhino beetle's best protection is their size and the fact they are nocturnal. This allows them to avoid most predators that hunt during the day, at which time they hide under logs or among vegetation where they are camouflaged. When all else fails, the rhino beetle will dig its way to safety, using its horn to bury itself underground and away from harm. If disturbed, they will emit a loud hissing squeak to scare off any would-be predators. These sounds are made by the beetle rubbing its abdomen against its wing covers. During the rainy months is when the rhino beetles mate. The females, who don't possess any horns at all, release pheromones, which arouse the males, who begin to get very aggressive, laying claim to feeding sites, often in trees. The best feeding sites are bombarded by males who need them to attract the females. If more than one male claims the site, they begin to fight. When two males fight, they use their horns in a combination of grabbing, throwing, and shoving, aiming to throw their rival off tree branches, trunks, or whatever they are tussling on in a bid to control access to females. adult rhino beetle is covered with a thick exoskeleton that works like armor. Underneath are a thick pair of wings on top of another finer set of wings. This allows the beetles to fly, but due to its massive size, not terribly efficiently. Rhino beetles are very resilient. Depending on the species, they can live between a few months and even up to a few years. Females will produce around 50 eggs and give life to the next generation of these supreme insect wrestlers. The tribe of Native Americans, called Absaluka or Crow people, told stories of a boy whose demonically possessed father tried to kill him. He was saved when bighorn sheep granted him power, wisdom, strength, and heart. To this day, these attributes are associated with this resilient species. Native to North America, there are 3 distinct subspecies: the Sierra Nevada, desert, and Rocky Mountain bighorn sheep. Complete herbivores, male bighorn are called ram and can weigh on average up to 300 pounds. They stand 3.5 feet tall at the shoulder and 6.5 feet long. Females, better known as ewes, tend to be somewhat smaller. The Rocky Mountain variety are the largest, sometimes weighing in excess of 279 pounds, whereas a Sierra Nevada bighorn can grow to 220 pounds. Bighorns get their name from the massive curved horns on their head. Their horns can weigh up to 30 pounds and are unique to rams. The ewe's horns are shorter and less curved. Male bighorn sheep skulls have 2 layers and have evolved to possess large horn cores, enlarged cornua, front sinuses, and internal bony septa. They have adapted in such a way to absorb any impact and protect the brain. The horns of older rams can be up to 3 feet long and 1 foot in circumference at the base. Preferring mountainous slopes and foothill country near rugged rocky cliffs, they are well adapted. With toenails modified for climbing rocky terrain, they seek protection from predators for their young. In their groups, bighorn sheep face different directions to keep watch of their surroundings. Their eyes are wide set, providing a large arc of vision. Their keen eyesight, hearing, and sense of smell are what helps them detect and avoid predators. Bighorn of all ages are preyed upon by cougar, who are best equipped with the agility to handle the rocky terrain that the sheep prefer. The protection granted by their skulls and horns are needed when bighorn defend themselves, charging with the intent to smash with their head and horns. The rams will try to establish their dominance over other males, leading up to mating season, also known as a rut. The challenger will antagonize the other ram with kicks and licks until one walks away, seemingly submitting, in a posture known as the low stretch. After a short distance, the seemingly submissive ram will turn and face the challenger and charge. Their skulls smash together at a force of 21 miles per hour, at a speed that would instantly kill a human. The clash of horn and skull is so hard it can be heard echoing through the mountains as the rams batter each other over and over. These fights can last for hours until one of the rams submits and walks away. Their remarkable skulls keep them from serious injury, and their horns are dangerous, effective weapons. However, they remain on the endangered species list, fighting for survival in their mountain habitats. As we've seen, animals that use melee for attack or defense can be some of the most amazing fighters in the animal kingdom. The antlers of a full-grown male elk are wielded with the precision of a master swordsman. The bison's strength, speed, and horns are so mighty, it's considered one of the most dangerous creatures on 2 continents. The rhino beetle has developed unique tools to toss rival males from the branch they fight on. And bighorn sheep, strong with keen senses and a skull that can endure hours of cracking headbutting with a force that would kill a human. It is an impressive armory that has enabled these animals to continue surviving. But other animals have an armory just as formidable. Australians call them prawn killers, and sometimes thumb splitters, due to the painful gashes they can create if incorrectly handled. They are more widely known as the mantis shrimp, and despite their tiny size, they carry a deadly arsenal of weaponry. Found in oceans the world over with more than 400 species, the mantis shrimp is one of the most important predators found in shallow, tropical marine habitats. Most grow to around 2 to 5 inches in length, but some can grow as big as 15 inches, with colors ranging from shades of brown to vivid, almost fluorescent hues. They are deadly predators, sporting powerful claws that they use to attack prey, often killing it with a single strike. Highly aggressive, the mantis shrimp are solitary creatures, rarely leaving their burrows except to feed or relocate. They hunt in a couple of different ways, by either hiding and waiting to ambush, or chasing their quarry down and killing them. Their method of killing is determined by the type of mantis shrimp, of which there are 2, smashers and spearers. Smashers have developed a club used to literally punch, bash, smash, or bludgeon their foe to death. Spearers wield spiny appendages with barbed tips they use to impale and snag their prey. Both types strike by quickly unfolding and swinging their club or spear claws towards their prey at an incredible speed, faster than a shot from a .22 caliber rifle. In order to attack with such force without breaking their clubs or spears, mantis shrimp have evolved a special shock-absorbent core, its structure molecularly different to any other animal. It's called a boulligand structure, and it keeps cracks in the shrimp's own body from becoming full breaks. With this, it can punch over and over without ever breaking. The strike from the smasher is employed with such velocity, it generates cavitation bubbles. The collapse of these bubbles produces a force against their prey, which, when combined with the impact of the club or spear appendage, produces 2 points of impact. Even if the first strike misses, the force of the bubble collapsing is often enough to stun or sometimes kill the creature. In fact, the mantis shrimp's attack is so quick, theoretically, it could punch 50 times in a single blink of a human eye. Spearers prefer the meat of softer creatures like fish or squid, which are easier to slice and snag with their barbed claw. It's not only prey they employ these deadly weapons against. Mantis shrimp have always displayed a habit of ritualized fighting against each other. Not only does the mantis shrimp have one of the world's most deadly attacks, it has the greatest eyesight. It can see ultraviolet and polarized light with trinocular vision. These creatures can also live up to 3 years in the wild. They may be tiny, but mantis shrimps are one of the strongest creatures in the world. However, the biggest risk to their population is human impact upon the ocean. The well-known symbol of Australia, appearing on its coat of arms, currency, and used as a mascot for several companies and sporting teams. The kangaroo is an important aspect of Australian culture, embodying its drive to always go forward and never take a backward step. It is estimated there are over 30 million kangaroos in Australia. Colloquially, groups of roos are known as mobs. Males are also called bucks, boomers or jacks, while the females are known as does, flyers or jills. Their large feet and strong hind legs allow them to hop, while their tails help them keep balance. Females, like other marsupials, raise their young in a pouch. Red kangaroos are the largest marsupials in the world and can be found in the arid centre of Australia. They can be as tall as 6 feet 7 inches and weigh 200 pounds. The eastern greys are the most abundant type of kangaroo, covering the eastern part of the country, from the top of Cape York to Tasmania. In a suitable habitat, it's not unusual to see 50 roos per square mile, if not more. With males appearing similar in colour to red kangaroos, and Tilapine wallaroos are closely related to their larger cousins. They are distinctive due to their enlarged nasal passages, allowing them to release more heat in warmer climates. Kangaroos are the only large animals in the world to employ hopping as a means of locomotion. While red kangaroos have an average speed of 16 miles per hour, they can move up to 43 miles per hour over short distances. As deserts gradually replaced forests in Australia, kangaroos evolved a need to travel long distances on little energy. Hopping was the fast, energy-efficient solution to this problem. Kangaroos have few natural predators, other than dingoes and crocodiles in Australia's north. Introduced species like foxes may also pose a threat. All species of kangaroos fight. Their fights can be brief or long and serve as practice. In competitive circumstances, the encounters are usually brief. Both sexes fight for various reasons, but the long ritualized fighting or boxing is mainly performed by the males. Males fight near females when it's time to mate, while the larger males in consorts don't involve themselves. Ritualized fights can occur suddenly when males graze together, usually preceded by two males scratching and grooming each other. They then adopt a high stance, with one challenging the other by grabbing their neck with their paws. Large males usually reject challenges from smaller ones, but when combat occurs, they retain their high-standing posture and paw each other's heads, shoulders and chest, while locking forearms and wrestling to push each other off balance. During these moments, kangaroos will lean back on their strong tails and kick each other in the abdomen. Victors are declared when a kangaroo stops fighting and retreats, or the winner can push the loser backwards down onto the ground. These furious kicking hand-to-hand battles establish dominance among males, displacing the loser from the prime resting sites. He must retreat and try his superb armory against the victor another time. When threatened, ostriches run. However, their powerful long legs can be formidable weapons, capable of killing a potential predator, like a lion with a forward kick. The ostrich is the largest living species of any bird. They are flightless and native to the African continent. During the winter months, they're either in small groups or alone. But during mating, they gather in nomadic groups of up to 100 birds, led by a top hen or female ostrich, grazing with other animals like zebra and antelope. Territorial fights between males can erupt during mating season for access to harems of 2 to 7 females. These battles are usually short. Ostrich don't fight each other like they do predators and threats. Instead, they combat each other by smashing their heads together, which can easily cause death. Many believe that ostriches bury their heads in the sand. However, this is untrue, and may originate from their defensive behavior of pressing their necks to the ground in an attempt to hide. Their main weapons are their legs, propelling the bird to running speeds of 43 miles per hour, the fastest land speed of any bird. The legs of an ostrich are unfeathered with bare skin. The tarsus, the lowest upright part of the leg, is covered in scales, the largest of any living bird, measuring up to 8 inches in length. Other birds possess 3 toes on each foot, but the ostrich only has 2, with a nail on the larger inner toe resembling a hoof. Their wings reach a span of 6 feet 7 inches, with a wing chord measurement of 35 inches. Their wings are used during mating displays, to shade chicks and help balance themselves during quick maneuvers while running. It's hard to avoid their looks that appear rather sinister with their unflinching expression. In fact, their large eyes are a perfect defensive weapon, a very useful feat given they share their savanna habitat with fearsome predators. When a predator is spotted, an ostrich will choose one of two responses: run away or lie flat on the ground and hide. When their heads and necks are pressed to the ground, from a distance, they look like a mound of earth. Some predators choose to attack the ostrich nest for eggs, rather than the actual birds. In these circumstances, the parents will create a distraction to lure them away. If everything fails, they opt for a direct assault, again kicking the threat, causing injury or death. Their supreme armory is again a good reason for most predators to back off from the fight. Commonly found throughout the Australian states of Queensland and New South Wales, from bushland to suburbia, is the often annoying and always confronting brush turkey. The Australian brush turkey, with its mainly black body plumage, bare red head, yellow throat wattle, and laterally flattened tail, is a very common mound-building bird in Australia. Leading up to the mating season, the male's wattle enlarges and their heads brighten in colour. They build large mounds on the ground consisting of leaves, other compostable material and earth. These mounds can be as high as 6.5 feet and as wide as 13 feet. The female will examine mounds for the best quality before choosing where to lay her eggs. During the mound construction process, the brush turkeys also find food such as insects, seeds, and fallen fruits. During their foraging, by scratching and raking the ground, they help to aerate the soil and supply it with the vital nutrients that help the regeneration of the environment. To protect themselves from predators such as dingoes, cats, or goannas, brush turkeys form roosting groups in trees. But it doesn't mean that they avoid all threats. When personally threatened, the brush turkey chooses to flee. But when predators seek the eggs in their mounds, they will attack. Their only option in combat is to ferociously peck with their beaks, hopefully scaring the creature and chasing the threat away. Goannas sometimes have scars on their tails from being chased by a brush turkey after an unsuccessful assault on the nest. In a cruel twist of fate, brush turkeys cease looking after their young as soon as they hatch, with the chicks then having to fend for themselves. Brush turkeys are vulnerable and only defend themselves when in grave danger. But the population, once almost extinct, is now expanding throughout Australia. Found in the tropical and subtropical forests of Central Africa are the ground-dwelling, predominantly plant-eating apes called gorillas. Gorillas are the world's largest primates. They are one of our closest living relatives. They mainly get around by knuckle walking, but will sometimes walk on two legs for short distances, either when carrying something or for defensive reasons. Adult male gorillas, usually no younger than 15 years old, are called silverbacks, taking their name from the silver hair on their back and hips. They can weigh up to 440 pounds, stand up to 6 feet tall, and possess an arm span of 8.5 feet. Gorillas live in troops, often consisting of one silverback, several adult females, and their offspring. Gorillas have larger muscles in their arms than in their legs, which can serve as extraordinarily powerful weapons. This is primarily due to the fact that they use their increased arm strength for bending and gathering foliage they live on. They inhabit wide-ranging territories, so competition for food amongst each other is rare. Gorillas rarely drink water, usually gaining enough fluids from succulent vegetation and morning dew. Sometimes, troops will have younger males known as blackbacks, who lack the silver hair and are subordinate to the silverback. The bonds between the females and the silverback are what the whole dynamic of the troop is based on. But it doesn't mean aggression between sexes doesn't occur. However, rarely is anyone hurt. The silverback is at the center of the troop, making all decisions, mediating conflicts, determining where they travel, feeding sites, and taking responsibility for everyone's safety. When the group is attacked by any predator, an individual silverback will take it upon himself to protect the group, even if it means the loss of his own life. Confronted with a foe, he will stand tall, beat his chest, and hoot and threaten the challenger before charging at the threat, giving the rest of the troop an opportunity to flee to safety. Silverback gorillas have incredible strength, 5 to 6 times stronger than a human being. They have short, bulky bodies with wide, muscular chests, powerful shoulders, and very long arms. Their power comes from their low center of gravity, coupled with extraordinarily large muscles across the chest, shoulders, and into the upper limbs. When two troops of gorilla engage in battle, or a silverback challenges another for the alpha position in the troop, they will engage in combat, sometimes to the death. They wrestle, tussling with each other, grabbing at each other's arms, sides, shoulders, or anything they can to throw their opponent to the ground. If lucky, the losing opponent will be able to run away. If not, he will die. The ability to melee and brawl is often the difference between life and death, not just for animals, but historically for humans as well. Where human beings created swords and weapons to wield, evolution has granted the elk two fearsome weapons on the very top of its head. Their antlers not only provide a means by which to impress potential mates, they grant the male elk a deadly weapon to defend themselves from predators and rival bulls. Despite a human skull being one of the strongest bones in the body, it's nothing compared to the skull of the mighty bison. We must train for the strength to lift and throw another person. Different types of rhino beetle grow unique horns they use to throw rival males from tree branches with a strength that can lift 850 times their own weight. Humans must also train to endure a fight that may go for half an hour. The bighorn sheep can smash their thick skulls and massive horns against each other for hours. Our hands are a delicate, intricate mass of fragile bones, evolved for precision. Unlike the mantis shrimp, whose claws grant them the fastest strike in the world and the ability to destroy armored prey with a single punch. Human legs give us the ability to walk, run, and jump. But the kangaroos have evolved to enable them to travel great distances by hopping. Like the ostrich, whose legs make it the fastest two-legged creature on the planet, with a lethal kick that can kill a lion. Brush turkeys show little fear in protecting their young before they hatch, with a series of pecks from their beak scaring away creatures much more deadly than they are. And the silverback gorilla, although being a near relative to human beings, is up to 20 times stronger, being able to literally flip a family sedan. Human beings have adapted to become the dominant force on the planet. But where we have evolved intellectually, animals continue to evolve physically, granting them the powerful weaponry found in the animal armory. Over millions of years, animals have adapted and evolved an arsenal of deadly weapons to hunt, defend, and attack. Teeth, claws, antlers, electricity, stings, camouflage, odor, and poisons are all being used to devastating effect in the animal armory. Across the African savanna, where zebras graze, and Madagascan jungles where chameleons climb, these creatures avoid becoming prey to predators stronger and more lethal than themselves. In warm tropics, where mantis hunt, to the Great Barrier Reef, where octopi hide with seemingly supernatural ability. From the Arctic tundra, where polar bears roam, and the Arctic fox prey on other animals with devastating patience and skill. To the Antarctic waters, where penguins play. And over the mountains of Southeast Asia, where the snow leopards dwell. These creatures share an amazing trait, the ability to use the environment surrounding them to hide in plain sight, to virtually disappear and be utterly camouflaged. Abundantly spread across the plains of Africa is the member of the horse family, famous for never being tamed and sporting striking black and white striped bodies, the zebra. Zebras are social animals and live in groups of varying sizes. They are members of the equid family. They are set apart from their horse relatives by their black and white stripes. The pattern of these stripes are unique to each zebra. But these stripes not only serve to give the zebra identity, they are a brilliant camouflage, its first line of defense from predators, of which there are many. Predators include crocodiles, wild dogs, hyenas, and cheetah. The zebra's greatest threat is the African lion. But their stripes are usually an effective deterrent. The vertical striping aids the zebra when hiding in grass by disrupting its outline, making it more difficult for the lion to see it at a distance. The stripes also motion dazzle predators. Groups of zebras are near each other, whether moving or standing still. The black and white stripes seem to flicker as one large mass. This makes it difficult for the lion to single out a target. One would think that black and white stripes against the yellow grasses would be easy to spot, and for most they are. But the lion is colorblind. Due to this, when zebras stand still among the long grass, it's virtually impossible for them to be seen by a lion, who cannot differentiate between the vegetation and the striped pattern. It's not until they move, their black and white pattern becomes more obvious, but still difficult for the colorblind lion. The savanna is covered in grass, a zebra's main source of food. They spend much of their time grazing with their heads down, and it's at these times that they are at their most vulnerable. Their young are even more at risk of being killed, often singled out by predators. For these reasons, zebra will often graze among other animals that are no threat to them and share common enemies, or are even capable of physically defending against these predators. With their long necks and long-range vision, giraffe can serve as an excellent early warning system. And the wildebeest, who also gather in great herds, can actually cause a predator injury or even death with their massive bodies and horns. Much needed protection for the zebra. Despite their amazing camouflage and relationship to other animals, lions have an arsenal of weaponry that can counter what they can or can't see. Their keen sense of smell and acute hearing means that sometimes the predator gets what it wants. and a zebra must die to feed a hungry pride of lions. But at the end of the day, thanks to its amazing ability to disappear before a lion's eyes, its fantastic camouflage ensures the zebra not only endures, but thrives. Throughout time, its name has become synonymous with camouflage, seeming to be one thing before suddenly disappearing into another. The old world lizard, the chameleon, has managed to capture the imagination like few other animals. There are just over 200 species of chameleon found in Africa, Southern Europe, and Southern Asia. However, their biggest diversity is found on the giant island of Madagascar. Many of these species are essentially the masters of disguise. They vary their skin coloration and pattern through combining many colors and shades. They achieve this with a superficial layer of skin covering their body containing pigments. Underneath are cells with guanine crystals. The color shift happens when the space between these crystals changes, altering the wavelengths of light they reflect. Chameleons change their color according to social circumstances to communicate with each other while reacting to temperature change. A beneficial side effect is it also makes for fantastically elaborate camouflage. This camouflage works to not only protect the lizard, but increase its chance of a successful hunt, allowing the lizard to not just capture its prey, but eat it without being disturbed. Unlike other lizards, chameleons don't creep. Instead, they move slowly, one leg at a time. Their slow movement is a product of their hunting technique because their tongue, their strike weapon, is so long. It's as long as their body and tail combined, with a sticky bulb on the end, which comparatively speaking, gives it the longest tongue in the world. When attacking their prey, the tongue is launched at the target and then put back in their mouth within a fraction of a second. The strike is so quick, a chameleon can catch 4 flies in 3 seconds. They will mainly hunt insects like bees, wasps, and spiders, and in the case of larger species, small birds and rodents. If their prey is out of their tongue's range, the chameleon approaches slowly, patiently waiting until it is just within range. Chameleons have evolved unique feet that are extremely beneficial when it comes to hunting. Their well-adapted feet and sharp claws allow them to grip almost any branch. Even with its super grippy feet and its ability to change color, matching its surrounding environment, being able to approach its prey with stealth is pointless if the lizard can't see it. Most creatures move their eyes at the same time, but the chameleon has an astonishing ability to move both eyes on their own. One eye can look in one direction, while the other looks in another. This lets them scan 360 degrees of their environment while focusing more precisely on a point with greater clarity. Each eye can form 3D images. When combined with these other factors, the chameleon can look in all directions and assess distance without moving its head, not attracting the attention of its prey, allowing the lizard to keep one eye on its prey and another on its predator. All this as it remains perfectly hidden. Throughout the world, over 300 species of octopus have been identified. With its malleable body, many tentacles, bulbous head, and its ability to seamlessly blend into its ocean floor surroundings, the octopus continues to be the elusive master of disguise. The octopus has 8 arms, with a beak at their center, and is classed as a cephalopod mollusk. Of all the invertebrates, they are some of the most intelligent. Sharks, eels, and dolphins are just a few of the many creatures in the ocean that would prey on the octopus if given the chance. But preying on the octopus isn't that easy, especially if they can't be seen. Their first line of defense is the amazing ability to hide in plain sight through camouflage or mimicry. With a network of pigment cells and special muscles in its skin, the octopus can instantly match the colors, patterns, and texture of its surroundings. Their camouflage is so effective, predators often swim right by without knowing they are even there. If camouflage doesn't keep them safe, the ability to hide in the tiniest of places out of reach will often suffice. This talent for squeezing into tight places is due to the octopus having no exoskeleton, granting them a perfectly malleable body. To deal with the most persistent predators, like sharks, whose instincts won't allow them to abandon the hunt, the octopus must use the most potent weapon in its defensive armory: camouflage. If they've been spotted and there's nowhere to hide, the octopus has another trick up his sleeve. A quick escape may be enough to get away from danger. But if not, a distraction is employed through the squirting of ink. Many octopi eject a thick, blackish ink cloud towards the predator to muddy their sight, block their sense of smell, confusing them, buying time to make an escape. With a lightning-quick dash through the water after ejecting the ink, the octopus often has enough time to find a crevice to hide in and change its color to match the surroundings, leaving for one very confused predator. Octopi aren't just prey for other animals. They are also effective hunters. All the aspects of making them difficult to catch make it easier for them to capture the food they need to survive. Depending on their size, which varies from species to species, octopi will hunt anything from crabs to fish. Again, their ability to blend into their environment by aesthetically changing and squeezing into the smallest of spaces allows for the octopus to be a highly successful ambush predator. Whether capturing prey or dragging their bodies into the murky depths to be slowly consumed, or evading predators that look to make a meal of their malleable bodies, the octopus's talent for disappearing into its environment is the reason it flourishes on the ocean's floor the world over. The mantis resides in tropical habitats all over the world, with over 2,400 discovered species. Some ancient cultures believed that the mantis possessed supernatural powers. With its ability to camouflage and its stoic patience, the mantis is one of the insect world's most feared hunters. With bulging eyes on triangular heads and flexible necks, some species have wings, but all possess huge forelegs used for catching and holding prey. They are expert predators specializing in ambush tactics. Using camouflage to hide, the mantis remains perfectly still, waiting for prey to approach or slowly stalk them until in reach. Once in range, they strike, gripping the prey in their spiked forelegs. Mantis don't kill before eating. Their prey is consumed alive. They generally hunt arthropods, including all insects, spiders, and centipedes. In a face-to-face confrontation, many of these insects would put up a good fight and perhaps even win. But when they can't see the mantis coming, they are easy prey. Being as common as they are abundant, the mantis has learned to share its habitat with other insects, many much bigger than they are. Even with its superior ability to blend into its environment and successfully hunt, it's not all easy living for the mantis. Like most creatures in the animal kingdom, there comes a time when the hunter becomes the hunted. Frogs, lizards, birds, spiders and ants all prey on the mantis. Their best defense is their camouflage. Most species are colored to resemble foliage or other backgrounds in their environment to both avoid predators and capture prey. A mantis can change its color, but only when it molts its skin, an important time in its life, for this is when it's most vulnerable. Those that live on uniformly colored surfaces, like bare dirt or tree trunks, are flattened, so they have no shadow that may reveal their presence. When a mantis is threatened, it will stand tall, spread its forelegs, and fan its wings to make it seem bigger than it is. Some may hiss if the threat persists. It will strike with its forelegs in an attempt to pinch and bite. It's an elaborate ruse, but one that often works, scaring predators away and leaving the mantis to hunt and eat its prey in relative peace. Once again, that specialized insect predator, the praying mantis, gets to live and hunt another day, thanks to its advanced weaponry, as well as its great skills in camouflage. As shown so far, camouflage is an effective talent when it comes to not just hunting prey, but escaping predators. The zebra's black and white stripes against the long grass enable them to confuse their number one predator, lions, enough to make them call off their attack. The chameleon can change the color of its skin to suit its surroundings, so they can use their massive tongue to strike at their quarry. The octopus can not only change the color of its skin, but also seemingly its texture to hide in plain sight of those that would eat it. And the praying mantis blends in with its surroundings so well, it can ambush its prey before eating it alive. These are but a few of the masters of disguise that inhabit the warmer regions of Earth. But more are to be found in the colder climates around the Arctic and Antarctic regions. The playful penguin, sleek in the water and also nearly invisible to prey. The Arctic fox, whose brilliant white coat lets it successfully hunt and scavenge. The polar bear, whose ability to camouflage makes it the Arctic's apex predator. And the snow leopard, whose patterned fur blends it into the mountainous regions it dominantly hunts in. Found exclusively in the southern hemisphere as far south as Antarctica, penguins live and breed in large colonies, ranging in size from a few to several 100,000, depending on the species. popular around the world for their upright, waddling gait and curiosity when it comes to human interaction. The penguin, with its black and white plumage, is often said to be wearing a dinner suit. But there is a lot more to a penguin's color and the patterns it makes. Spending half of their lives in the water, penguins' wings have evolved into flippers, giving them the ability to seemingly soar through the water. Their agile swimming makes them effective hunters of fish. The number of penguin species is debated, but it's somewhere around 17 or 18. The largest being the emperor and king penguins, standing at 48 inches and weighing up to 99 pounds, while the smallest of the species are the little blue penguins or fairy penguin, standing up to 13 inches and only weighing 3 pounds. They split their time between land and ocean for a few reasons. Penguins must breed on land because eggs can't be reared in the water. With no way of killing any threat and being clumsy on land, alone, penguins are vulnerable to aerial attacks from skuas and foxes on the ground. But living in large colonies serves as protection against these predators. Many eyes in many directions make it hard for predators to sneak up on them. Despite being awkward, comedic creatures on land, in the water, penguins swim with effortless grace and speed, making them difficult to catch. But it's in the water where they are also difficult to see. It's also in the water where their camouflage comes into play. All penguins are counter-shaded, having black backs and wings with white fronts. For a predator looking up from below, it can't recognize the difference between the penguin's white belly and the reflection of the water's surface. The dark coloring on their back works in exactly the same fashion, camouflaging them from predators above. Sharks and orca are some of the most ferocious hunters in the ocean, and both prey on penguin. But on land, they are relatively safe from these predators. It's the sea lion that's a great threat to many species. When in the ocean, the sea lion isn't always fooled by camouflage and are just as agile in the water. Sometimes there is nothing the penguin can do to escape. Sea lions also live out of the water, often basking on the land. They too are clumsy, but won't hesitate to attack penguin if given the opportunity. Thanks to the vast numbers with their colonies, These adorable black and white animals enjoy a high survival rate despite these attacks and manage to thrive in their chosen habitats. The Arctic fox has little to fear from humans and will often approach a person out of curiosity, even though they've been hunted for their fur for many years. It is this fur that makes the Arctic fox such a deadly hunter. It's native to the Arctic regions of the Northern Hemisphere and found throughout tundra areas. It is well adapted to living in freezing environments with its deep, thick fur insulating it from the cold. Arctic foxes are omnivorous. They have a particular taste for rodents and birds. They have great success in hunting these animals for a few reasons. One in particular is their ability to blend in with their surroundings. Their camouflage is their ultimate weapon. In the summer, when the snow retreats, the Arctic fox adapts, losing much of its fur, with the remainder darkening into shades of brown. This offers them camouflage against the rocky outcrops and dirt that appear when the snow and ice melt with the warmer weather. During the colder months, when the tundra is covered in ice and snow, the fox is well camouflaged, with its fur returning to its brilliant white. They will usually eat any tiny animal they can find, like voles, hares, with lemmings making up the bulk of their diet, but will happily settle for birds if given the opportunity. When on the hunt, the Arctic fox relies on its incredible hearing. Their wide ears face forward, allowing them to locate the precise position of any prey. Female foxes, or vixens, will bring their kill back to their den amongst the rocky outcrops of the environments they call home, where their young wait to be fed. Their other quality is that they are great forward planners. They hide their food in their dens or under rocks for later consumption when hunting opportunities are scarce. But the stored food won't last the whole winter. Even when under snow, the Arctic fox's keen senses will detect its prey. Once found, it is time for the fox to employ its most famous move. It will leap into the air and pounce, using its momentum to break through the ice and snow to capture the prey beneath. When food is really scarce, the Arctic fox becomes a scavenger. Tracking larger carnivorous animals like polar bears in their habitat, and eating the carrion remains of the animals they kill. Again, it's camouflage skills, combined with a great awareness of danger, that comes in handy to stay out of the bear's deadly reach. This ensures the fox doesn't become a fresh addition to the polar bear's menu. Living in such harsh conditions, Arctic foxes are ultimate survivors. They blend into their environments almost effortlessly and use their resources to their advantage. And their remarkable weapons make them the ultimate survivors in the permafrost regions of the Earth. For the indigenous cultures of the Arctic region, polar bears have always been important and revered. 1,500-year-old cave paintings depict the animal, while it's widely believed that Arctic people learned to hunt by watching the polar bear chase and kill its prey. The largest bears on Earth, only matched in size by the Kodiak, the polar bears are unmatched at the top of the food chain in the Arctic region. They are perfectly in tune with their surroundings, adapted, equipped with deadly teeth and claws, and most importantly, extremely well disguised. No other Arctic predator is foolish enough to attack the mighty polar bear. Rather than protection, the white fur is an effective weapon while hunting, which serves as camouflage, making sneaking up on their prey easier. Underneath the fur, there is a thick layer of blubber, which provides excellent insulation from the cold. While other species of bear enjoy a variety of foods other than meat, the mighty white-coated polar bear has essentially a strictly carnivorous diet. Its main source of food is the seal, but will happily hunt other creatures using the same tactics, like walrus. The polar bear is hidden so effectively, it can literally walk right up to a group of walrus and take its pick of which one to eat without the walrus being able to see it coming. The bear's stark white coat gives wonderful camouflage in the surrounding ice and snow. But underneath, their skin is black to soak in the sun's warmth. While its giant paws have evolved to allow it to walk freely on slick ice without slipping, it's these paws that also help the bear to swim. They need to be excellent swimmers as they traverse the Arctic landscapes, which are broken up by bodies of water dotted by icebergs. The polar bears swim in between as they hunt. An efficient predator, the polar bear's most common way to hunt is called still hunting. Using its incredible sense of smell, it will locate a hole in the ice that aquatic mammals like beluga use to breathe. The bear crouches nearby, waiting in silence. Bears can smell the beluga's breath as it exhales underwater. They pull them from the water, crushing their skulls with their jaws. A polar bear will gladly share its meal with others as long as they approach submissively and ask for their share politely. When the polar bear's keen senses are combined with its great strength, patient hunting abilities, and its ability to be camouflaged in the icy environment around it, it's no wonder this creature is at the top of the food chain in the Arctic regions, at the top of the world. Occupying the high reaches of the mountain slopes in Central Asia and playing a significant role in local cultures is the ultimate master of disguise, a strong and agile hunter, the snow leopard. Slightly smaller than most big cats, a large male could weigh up to 165 pounds. Their long, thick fur varies in color depending on the seasons, from dark gray to a yellowish color in the summer. Snow leopards are carnivores who actively hunt prey despite rarely being witnessed. They are effective killers, able to take down prey 2 to 4 times their own body weight, like ibex and markhor, but will readily kill smaller creatures like hares and birds. Whatever animal comes close is likely to end up as the snow leopard's meal, not even knowing what struck it, thanks to the leopard's supreme disguise. When hunting, snow leopards prefer to ambush their prey from above, using their fur against the rocky terrain to hide their approach. If spotted, they will chase their prey down the mountain slope until they catch it, killing it with a bite to the neck. Snow leopards are most active at dawn and dusk. They are extremely secretive and hard to spot because of their wonderful camouflage. Their color is broken up with gray to black rosettes on their bodies, with spots on their heads, limbs, and tails. This coloration pattern lends itself to a perfect camouflage amongst the rocky outcrops and snow-laden mountainsides. It's not unusual for a snow leopard to drag its kill to safety before feeding, eating all edible parts. A snow leopard can survive on a single kill of a large animal for 2 weeks. In the warmer months, when the snow and ice have melted and the forests at the foot of the mountains spring to life, the snow leopard easily relocates and hunts among the foliage and shrubs. Thanks to the patterns and color of its fur, the leopard remains beautifully camouflaged, blending in with the speckled shadows cast by leaves and branches, while its fur is hard to distinguish in the bright light. Whether on the mountain slopes or in the nearby forests, the snow leopard is incredibly silent, treading lightly in order not to alert potential prey. They reveal their presence in their habitat by scent, marking to keep away others of the same sex and to greet those of the opposite one. They sleep in different spots nearly every night, so they are always on the move, making them unpredictable and harder to detect. Their range was estimated to be around 5 to 14 square miles, but they seem to cover even more ground than that. In one case, scientists discovered a snow leopard migrating 375 miles. For millennia, this magnificent cat was the king of the mountains, but their population is dropping. The snow leopard habitat range continues to decline from human settlement and increased use of grazing space. This development increasingly fragments the historic range of this amazing species. The monochromatic stripes of the zebra bamboozle predators like the lion into not attacking. The chameleon can instantly change its color depending on how it feels before deploying its tongue to snatch a fly from the air in less than a second. The octopus can also change its color to disappear into its surroundings, while also fitting into nooks and crannies much smaller than they actually are. The patient praying mantis waits to ambush its prey while perfectly blending into its surroundings. Penguins are easy targets on land, but in the water, they swim with speed and grace, while appearing virtually invisible to predators below and above. The Arctic fox's coat changes color with the seasons, blending with the earthy tones of rocky outcrops in summer and white snow in winter. The polar bear is lost amongst the blinding ice as it hunts the Arctic tundras. And the snow leopard is death from above for unsuspecting prey, unable to see the attack coming due to the color and pattern of its coat. Human beings have adapted to become the dominant force on the planet. But where we have evolved intellectually, animals continue to evolve physically, granting them the powerful weaponry found in the animal armory.